Right.
Right, okay. So I'm Jill
Yeah.
Telford and I'm the engagement team manager at Healthwatch Doncaster. And today I've got the pleasure of meeting on Zoom with Eileen Harrington. Eileen's done absolutely fantastic over the weekend and has managed to download the app to give us this opportunity to talk. So Eileen is going to tell us about DonMentia, and then she's going to tell us a little bit about how the lockdown has had an impact on people with dementia and their carers. And the reason we're meeting today is because this week is Carers Week, and we thought it would be great for Eileen to come along and talk to us. So, Eileen, I'd like to ask you to tell us about DonMentia.
Right. Okay, thanks, Jill. DonMentia is a local dementia charity which supports people with dementia and their carers, not just husbands or wives or spouses, because so many people are affected. So many people are involved, even without necessarily realising they're involved. We've got people like shop assistants, the bus driver, the bus who takes the bus fare, just people in the street, there's somebody in the post office, at the local supermarket. Everybody gets involved with people with dementia. The neighbours across the road who just spot people and they keep an eye on somebody with dementia. So it's for everybody. What we do is I raise funds in any which way that is legal, and we take people out, sorry, I'm just going to cough, take people out on trips and activities and events and outings, to the theatre, to, I'm just trying to remember all the different things, to meals. I try always include a meal in it, because rather than just cups of tea, because it's a real chore for people to make meals. So I make sure that whenever they're with me, they get a substantial meal, especially if the wife has got dementia and the husband's had to learn to cook and perhaps not done very well. We go to garden centres, museums, the theatre, the seaside, that's the most popular one. The trip to Cleethorpes on the train is very popular, and we should be doing that next month, so fingers crossed that we'll get it done. Last year we took 70 people on 2 separate days because we couldn't take them all at once, and they just love it. They just love it. Partly they love the trip to the seaside, the memories of children, get their own candy floss. We have a nice restaurant that does a fish and chip meal for us, or whatever, a meal. And then they have a couple of hours to do whatever they like, going for a paddle or whatever. I always invite everybody to come skinny dipping with me, but nobody's taken me up on it yet. But all of this is free. They don't pay anything. I pay the fares, the entrance, the meals, the cups of tea, whatever it involves. So they don't pay anything. They do have to pay by their own candy floss or on the slot machines. I don't pay for that. But other than that, there's nothing to pay for. And we find that people are so kind and so generous. For example, at Cleethorpes on the little train, they let them go either free or half price because they're people with dementia. What they also like about it is the social time, because when you've got dementia, you lose a lot of your friends because they can't cope with it. And the person who's got it loses social skills and become very difficult and don't have the manners and graces that they used to have. But the people who are living with it the same accept it. It's strange behaviour, it's odd, it is very antisocial, it's downright rude on occasions, but that's the way it is. And so they put up with it and get on with it. So everybody is content and happy. If somebody does something strange, so what? They'll get over it. We'll all get over it. We'll just deal with it as it is. And so they enjoy. They've made a lot of new friends, and there are lots of little social groups within the people that I deal with, the people I talk to and meet. I also run the Dementia Forum, which is for anybody with any interest, and they love that because that's not an entertainment group, it's an activity as in I get speakers in to talk about anything whatsoever that's related to or of interest to older people mainly, and their carers. I have there is a young onset dementia group in Doncaster, but they have their own activities, which usually involves something more active. Sorry, that's my telephone. Are we all right?
Right, Eileen, you've told us a lot about DonMentia and all the wonderful things that, that the group does. And obviously a lot of that involves getting people together, going out on trips, going out for meals together. Can you tell us a little bit about what lockdown has meant to people with dementia and their carers?
Well, I have heard there's a lot of them calling each other. They just make phone calls on it, sometimes on a daily basis or just a frequent basis, to talk to each other because they're not meeting. So they're getting together on the phone and pass messages around. It's like the Bush Telegraph. If something happens to someone, somebody's gone into hospital or into care, they pass the messages round to each other. I don't get involved. Well, I do, but that is there through the friendship groups they've made. I have found that a lot of people are really feeling very low over it. They found frustration of not being able to get out because most of them have their other health issues as well as catering for somebody with dementia. So because of the health issues, they are totally locked down and don't go out, and they've usually made promises to the family, no, we won't go, we'll rely on deliveries, or we'll rely on other people or neighbours. But again, a lot of people haven't got that and have had real difficulties getting shopping in or getting prescriptions. Prescriptions are usually easier because they can get those delivered. But if there's a confusion or problem over it, because of course, some people with dementia live on their own. And so they have to rely on others to deal with things for them, and often just a long distance. I've had one who have been very depressed over it all because they can't go to church, a lot of them miss, and because they can't just simply go out. They've often just gone for a little walk round, but trying avoiding other people because that's what the rules say they must do. They've had cancelled hospital appointments, clinic appointments, and they feel that they're lacking the treatment that they ought to have, which sometimes can be remedied with perhaps another prescription. But I've heard of other serious operations being cancelled during this time. The clinics are cancelled, and then they feel they need to, and it's all and they are not capable necessarily of doing a Zoom call for it. A telephone call does not cover everything the same. But at the same time, some people are very happy to stay locked down. No, we don't need any help. As you know, I've contacted people for you to contact them. No, we don't need anything. We're all right. We'll stay like this. And I think the reason is because there's no pressure. They don't have to make any effort. They don't have to go out. They don't have to go for the walk. We've been told we can stay in. So they don't have to socialise, and when they don't want to do, they can just stay locked in, watch the television or feed the cat or whatever it is they're doing, and be content to do so. What I've done is I've been going to see people. I phoned everybody in the first place, right at the very beginning. I was calling as many as I could, and I realised this was going to take me the full 3 months of lockdown, although we didn't know that at the time. So I wrote letters to everybody saying if they wanted to call me, they were welcome to do so. And if they needed any shopping, they could call me. And I've got volunteers who would do it. And some people did do. And then I think they all made other arrangements after that. One gentleman, I did do some shopping for him before the immediate lockdown. And he got then several people who live near him pushed notes through his door offering to do shopping for him. So he was inundated with people wanting to help him. He is a nice man as well. And he now finds that people are always calling on him, dropping shopping off, giving him things. I've made an extra dinner, here's one for you, putting pies and cakes and everything. He's in clover. He is actually enjoying it in this way because it has, for him, brought out the community spirit, and people are doing what people should do. And he's benefiting from it and really loving it. But others are, one lady whose husband has dementia was really, really depressed and upset and sad. because he couldn't understand why she wouldn't take him out, why they couldn't invite people like me. Why can't you come in? Why do you have to stand down the drive to talk to us? That's not right. You should be coming in. Come and have a cup of tea. And didn't understand at all why they couldn't go out. And this particular gentleman was being a nuisance with the neighbours, disturbing them wanting to go out, and why his wicked wife wouldn't let him go. He wouldn't talk to her. He wouldn't sit in the same room as her. So she was really upset. And then I spoke to her at the weekend, and she said he fell out of bed and banged his head quite badly.
Okay.
And so the paramedics came out, and they sorted him out, and really it was a case of lifting him back into bed again. He doesn't usually do that. That was an unusual occurrence. And since then, she said this bang in the head seems to have done him good. So she was really perked up because he's not as aggressive and belligerent. So she doesn't know necessarily whether the ambulance med said something to him. I don't know, but nevertheless, he's improved since then. Another lady.
Go on then. Yes, carry on, Eileen.
I was going to tell you another similar story. Another lady, her husband fell, and he's a big man, and no way could she lift him. So the paramedics came out again and saw her situation, that she was struggling on her own. So they put in place some care options, some care package. And so she gets somebody coming in every morning for probably an hour to help him, get him dressed and washed and everything, which not only does he enjoys the company, and it takes the pressure off her, but she then has time to for herself for an hour or so to do something, and she loves it. She thinks it's wonderful. So that they're two good news stories. Do you want another one?
Well,
another.
I was really interested because what's come through is the community spirit, and you've described some stories where people have struggled, but then they've got support. And you've also described, some really good experiences for some people. I wondered if you could just tell me as well, because what really interested me was that you've been taking out some parcels, and I wondered if you'd tell me about what you've been doing and who those parcels are for, and what sort of impact they're having on people.
Well, I had originally myself, I did one of my regular volunteers. Can I just go back and say about the volunteers? The volunteers enjoy doing it. They enjoy going out and doing it. It was no problem at all. I haven't done it. I've utilised one quite a lot. It's convenient for her. We make it convenient, and so it's not a great deal out of her way. But she would do if I asked her to go to every house in Doncaster. I think she would do. But we've made it so that it's on her route. She has to see to an elderly mother, so that's on her route, and they enjoy doing it, and they give me the feedback on how the people were and how they received it. So I was sending out what I call my soup run. I was making soup and sending out a pot of soup to different people with a homemade bread bun, and if I didn't keep up with the soup, then I'd make perhaps hot cross buns and send those out. These were just to a very handful of people. And then I was able to deliver some myself because I go out on my bike and deliver some locally. And again, the same things, either soup and a bread bun or a cake or a hot cross bun. But just this recently, I've put together packages. I've been told I've got to call them all sorts of different names, but it's really a little goodie bag with just a token in it, really. We've put wet wipes and soap and hand cream and tissues and a cake and biscuits and sometimes some Smarties and chocolates in there. And they've been delivered quite a lot. I think we've done over 40 of these, and they went all over Doncaster to anybody with dementia and their carers. The charity is only allowed to deal with people with dementia, so it's not people who are lonely or isolated or depressed. I can't do those, much as we might like to do. It has to be just the family, people with dementia and their carers. So that's gone to somebody asked me where did you send them to, and I think there aren't many districts in Doncaster that didn't get at least one, so they were all covered. And I've had lots of feedback. We just had a call now from one lady. I've had to cut her off. They're just they've absolutely been overjoyed. It was unexpected. It was a nice little gift. They loved the thought of it. And what several of them have said, it was the knock on the door that they really appreciated. They loved the fact that somebody came, they thought of them. There's one lady who has been very depressed because right at the beginning she had to put her husband into care and hasn't been able to visit him, so she was really low. But she skipped and bounced to come and receive it and was absolutely elated after it. And another lady, similar, she hasn't got a husband in care, but she was overjoyed to get it. And I had them say to me that it was just so nice just to get this, that somebody's thought of them. I did put a little note in saying you're not forgotten, that they appreciated that. And I say, seeing somebody who's not come to just drop off prescription or whatever. But yes, that's been the reaction. So it's quite nice, really, to know that they've been well received. And I wish I'd done it sooner and perhaps more often. But although I have to say it's been hard work collecting the stuff, packaging them, getting addresses, getting things in order, because I got the volunteers to live in certain areas so that they weren't running from A to B to C and back to A again. We kept it in parts of the town, in locations, and it seems to work quite well so far. I might do it again, but we'll see.
Well, Eileen, I'd just like to say that it's absolutely amazing the work that you've been doing. Obviously, DonMentia's had to tick in a very, very different way to what you did previously. And yes. I can see how much effort you've put in, you and your volunteers, and have made a huge difference to people in Doncaster with dementia and their carers. Can I just ask you then, if anybody wants to know anything more about DonMentia, what can we tell them? What sort of contact details can we give them?
They can go, the website has got all the details. I don't pick up the emails or notices from there, but I've just got one this morning. I've got an IT guru who does it. Brian does that, and he passes them all on to me, which I then follow up and deal with. And I've just got 2, so I will follow those up. Can I just say that right very early on in this, I had my house broken into and I had my laptop stolen, so I'm laptopless. So that has been a real handicap for addressing things, of following up, finding out information. But also before that, I'd had to cancel 3 different trips and activities. I've got my fingers crossed for Cleethorpes, but I don't know whether we're going to be able to do it. That's in mid-July, so we'll just have to see for that. But the other thing they've all said is, oh, I can't wait to go back on one of your trips or days out, because they look forward to it so much, because they can't do many other things. Because I set everything in place, so all they do is turn up, and there's nothing to think about, which they enjoy so much. Can I just tell you one more little story? One gentleman has a really problematic wife, and he's desperate not to put her in care, and his family, who have just come to live locally, we're not going on holiday, so they have taken her in with them for a few days, and he was like a spring lamb, bouncing about everywhere because he was so overjoyed to be able to sleep and not have to watch her every minute as he had been doing so far. So that's what lockdown has done. It helped the family, so it helped him as well, and therefore his wife, because she was happy to go as well.
Well, Eileen, I'd like to say on behalf of Healthwatch Doncaster and the local people of Doncaster with dementia and their carers, thank you very much for all your huge efforts during lockdown, and it's great to hear what you've told us today. So thank you very much, Eileen.
Can I just say that it's donmentia.org to go onto the website, donmentia.org.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thanks.